This episode of Mustang Football Talk is brought to you by Home Indeed, your home improvement and construction planning center at 1208 1st Street West in Independence, or online at homeindeed.net.
Chris Shaw coming at you from the high school auditorium here at Independence, talking Week 3 Independence Mustang football. I'm joined right now by our honorary captain for Friday night's game against Decorah, Bob Beatty. Bob, how are you doing tonight?
Very good, thanks.
Good. But just going to touch base quick. Bob coaches the 5th and 6th grade team here in Independence. Talk a little bit about the program that is going on.
This year we've got 52 kids, 2 teams, split pretty evenly. We draft them each year. Right now we haven't had a game. We had a jamboree a couple weekends ago. We opened this Sunday with Northland, so I think the kids are excited to get their season started. So
sure. You mentioned first game. What does a 5th and 6th grade game entail? Are you guys on the field with them, teaching them just the
No, we don't get the. Yeah, it is fundamentals, but it's kind of just like a regular game. We have to be on the sideline. For our team, we're going to signal everything in. So it's been kind of a challenge teaching them both plays and signaling. So it should be a unique experience for us all on Sunday. So
sure. It couldn't not touch on the fact that you're wearing the Wartburg shirt. I'm an Upper Iowa grad, so have to touch on that. You're the all-time leading rusher at Wartburg, correct?
Yes, so far.
So far, yep. Most memorable moment of college football?
I'd say making it to the Final Four was probably our most memorable moment. We ended up losing a close game to St. John's, but I think just teammates and locker room stuff is probably the things you treasure the most.
Some stuff you might not be able to mention here.
Most likely.
Have you been working on your coin flip at all?
I haven't.
I hear that's a big thing for an honorary captain.
I'm actually going to take hints from Hoult. So
you got to get the right consistency, the weight, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, looking forward to your coin flip Friday as Independence takes on Decorah here at Lyle Linebaugh Field. Back here with the Home Indeed Offensive Player of the Week for the Mustang football team, and Jake Jewell. Jake, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Jake, last week, you guys went up to North Fayette Valley, number 1 ranked team in Class 2A, defending Class 2A state champions, and you handed them a loss. Tell everybody at home what it's like to go on the road, your first road game of your senior year, and against a team that may or may not have been favored a little bit, but just to go up there and take the lot and take the W from them. Excuse me.
Well, it feels pretty good to be the underdog and go up there and hand it to them, especially since we played the way we wanted to play. And I think that, honestly, it didn't surprise any of us, but surprised the whole state.
Right, yep. You went up there, you had 26 carries, I believe, for 98 yards. A touchdown is your second game of the season. The first game you had 100 yards, second time just short. I think the stat guy should go back and look at the game film a little bit and get you that 100 yards. But just talk about how offensively everything just seemed to be working for you guys last Friday.
Well, we were just firing off the football every play. They couldn't even keep up with us. Our no huddle just wore them down, and we just kept on pushing.
Absolutely. Looking ahead this week, Friday night, you guys have Decorah coming to town. Traditional power in Decorah. I think they started the year 0-2, though, so what are you looking for when the Vikings come to town this week?
Well, they're nothing to underestimate. I mean, the 2 teams that they lost to are pretty decent teams, but I think, again, if we just keep the ball rolling during the game, that we shouldn't have any trouble just rolling it on them.
Absolutely. Senior year, finally, what are you looking to do after this year? What are your plans?
Well, I've always thought about playing football or wrestling. It's kind of like a 2-way street.
Sure.
Right now, probably wrestling is a little bit more in my ballpark of what I'm going to do in college. I just don't know where I'm going to go yet.
Sure. Still got that college search still kind of maybe get rolling after football season wraps up. Well, awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. And good luck Friday against Decorah.
Thank you.
Chris Shaw back here, voice of the Mustangs with Week 3 of Mustang Football Talk. I'm joined now by our Home Indeed Defensive Player of the Week from last week at North Fayette Valley, Nicholas Hoult. Nick, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It's Nicholas, right?
Yes,
I
Nicholas.
keep messing that up.
It's all right.
2 interceptions last week. Really set the tone at the beginning of the game with the interception that you took back, I believe, 70 yards or something like that. Just talk about the last week's game against North Fayette Valley.
Well, as a team, we came out, and I thought we played really well. We obviously left some points on offense, I thought, but defensively, it was a big point for us to be able to stop them. As many people know, North Fayette Valley has a very, very big offensive line, and they aren't a slouch team, obviously. And I think our defense came out, played great, and I was just lucky enough to be in a couple places and make some plays for us.
Sure, you mentioned that lucky enough at the end. We talked about probably the least favorite call of the night, but the most favorite play of the night last Friday was the kind of the circus punt that you were kind of dead to rights back at the way behind the line of scrimmage and found a way to make it happen. What happened on that play?
Well, our sign for to go, like have the play go, is go, go, go. And we had our coaches on the sideline yelling, no, no, no. And that kind of sounds similar, and I think our snapper kind of thought it was go, go, go. And as I was looking over to my right, I just felt the ball kind of go by and, knew I had to make a play of it. So I picked it up and was thinking hopefully just to throw it out of bounds and, have it back on the 45 instead of the 20 or whatever.
Sure.
And just happened to hit Jacob on a lucky pass.
Yeah, and the rest is history after that. So you do the punting duties, you play defensive back, you're also the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a full game for you. I mean, do you ever get to sit down?
If it was up to Coach Putz, no. But one play I sat out, and I'm probably going to regret this for a while, but they had a 50-yard pass, and so from now on I won't be sitting out at that place.
Right.
But it's a little tiring.
You mentioned a big offensive line with North Fayette Valley. I would assume, Decorah is a very traditionally run team, so you probably see a lot of that again Friday. Talk about what do you know about the Vikings coming to town?
You can't really expect anything bad out of the Vikings. They've always had a good program, and something that's been brought up to us this week is that Independence has never beat Decorah, ever, at a varsity level game. I think we're 0-21 against them. So, obviously you can't underestimate somebody that you've never beat before. And even though they're 0-2 right now, we really have to come out with, I think, a good focus and be ready to punch just like we did in North Fayette. So.
Sure. Senior year, What are your plans for next year?
As a lot of people would say, this isn't a good thing. I'm kind of going a little bit by the seat of my pants.
It's early yet.
Yeah,
you got a lot of time.
But right now I'm kind of waiting for the end of football season to simmer down, see if I can get any scholarships or anything like that for playing football. But otherwise, I plan on going to UNI to be a chemistry teacher.
Nice. Education. Love it. Well, thanks for joining us. Defensive Player of the Week, Nicholas Hoult. And we'll be back in 1 minute. Back with Week 3 of Mustang Football Talk. I'm here with a couple of 6th graders, Marcus and Sawyer. Fellas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Talk about the 6th grade program. Your parents, your dads both are on the coaching staff, correct?
Yeah.
Talk about kind of what you guys do. I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching this at home have no idea what a 6th grade practice entails. So just talk about practice. How often you guys practice. Time and kind of what you guys do.
Well, we practice 3 days a week for 2 hours.
Nice.
We work to have tackling groups. We run our plays with our quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. And it's full pads. You guys suited up and hit each other, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. How much fun is that?
Pretty fun.
Yeah. Does it get you ready for next year, 7th grade, and that's kind of when stuff really starts picking up, right?
Yeah.
For the next level there. Your dad mentioned before that you guys have a game on Sunday at North Lynn.
Yes.
Are you guys excited to put the pads on and head down there?
Yeah.
What are you guys looking for when you go down there? Do you know anything about them at all?
We play them at the Jamboree. Yeah. They like to run sweeps.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you guys will be watching that this time? Loading up the box, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything you guys want to add while you're on camera making your debut on the Mustang Football Talk?
No.
Not really?
No.
All right, well, you catch these guys Sunday. They go to Northland. Do you guys know what time you play?
2:30 or 3:30.
2:30 to 3:30. 2 teams, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Chris Shaw back here on Mustang Football Talk. We're in week 3 already, and we're going to talk to head coach Justin Putz. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate you doing this again this week.
No problem. Glad to do it. It's fun. That was a fun game Friday night. Talk about going up to North Fayette Valley.
I mean, it was a fun game. All week, I thought we did a good job of, telling our guys, hey, there's some things we can do on film. There's some advantages I think we have, and our guys did a great job of buying into it. And then, they came out and executed a lot of those facets of the ball game. One of our goals was to take some of their size that they have that was an obvious advantage for them, and use our conditioning, use our speed a little bit, and try to turn them into one-way players in the second half. We were able to do that, about halfway through the second quarter. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that we didn't have success against some of those big guys because, we put up some really good drives early on in that football game. Our guys did a great job of executing all week.
Sure. If you didn't catch last week, Independence went up to West Union, defeated North Fayette Valley 36-15 up there, the number 1 ranked team in Class 2A at the time and the defending state champs. So going up there, you guys started, I think, did you guys get the first kickoff and it was a punt situation, or did they right from the beginning interception?
We went on defense first. That's kind of part of our strategy is let them wear themselves out on offense a little bit. And it worked out even better for us. Nicholas Hoult came up with an interception they took back to the house. It really set the tone. From that point forward, we had a lot of excitement. We had a lot of people believing that we're the best team. And, across the board, defense, we did a great job all night long.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't remember if you guys had offense first, and then right before halftime, you had a chance to punch one in, 4th down, didn't quite get it, but ended up getting the safety and getting the ball back anyway. You just had a lot of things that went your way, and sometimes that's what it takes to, when you're playing a good team.
Oh, absolutely. And when you play a good team, one of the things we talk about is they're going to make plays. Mm-hmm. They're rated number 1 in the state. They were a state championship quality program last year. They're going to make plays. And how are we going to respond? And it's kind of a so what, next play mentality. That's kind of a lot of what the safety was like. We didn't get it on 4th and 1. Mm-hmm. We had a penalty, that drive that backed us up. And, so what, how are we going to respond? Our guys came up and responded with the safety. We got points out of it. We got the ball back. And that's, pretty typical of the mindset that we want our guys to have.
Absolutely. Your offensive line, I can't speak enough of them. They did an awesome job again last Friday with huge rushing games from Nicholas Hoult and Jake Jewell, who we already spoke with. Just talk about those guys and how they've just kind of bonded and meshed this year.
They bonded and meshed, and the growth that they've had between our scrimmage with Center Point to now has been really phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It's probably the biggest question mark that we had coming in, and they've answered the questions. At each position, we've had guys step up. Left tackle Andrew Wright has stepped up. Never played offensive line until this year. Alec Norris has just stepped up, and he missed most of the season last year with a season-ending injury during week 1. Lane McMartin's been an anchor for us, and he's up to his level of play. Luke House is now his first year as a full-time starter on the offensive line, and then Sam Bradton his first year as a full-time starter on the offensive line. Those guys have a unit, have done a great job picking up a new offense. They've done a great job of communicating and just getting better every single day in practice. They're outstanding.
Absolutely. They've done a fantastic job this year. Now switching gears, going from North Fayette Valley into Decorah next week. North Fayette Valley came in defending 2A state champs, number 1 ranked team. Decorah, they're 0-2. How do you keep that team grounded from going from that kind of a game into one that may, on paper might not be as important, but obviously is for district?
Keeping it grounded has been pretty easy. Obviously, there's a lot of excitement after beating North Fayette Valley, sneaking into some of the rankings. All that stuff's good. I'd rather have people think we're good than think we're not good. But it's been very easy to keep us grounded because, as I think Nicholas alluded to earlier, we've never beaten, Decorah as a program. Mm-hmm. Anytime someone's beaten you 21 straight times, I think they have your attention. Yep. It's one of those we also understand we're 0-0 in games that count to go to the playoffs. Decorah is 0-0 in games that count to go to the playoffs. So, those two things right there have been, big motivating factors this week and have done, the job for keeping us grounded.
Mentioned going into it 0-0 now as district play starts. Decorah comes to town, traditionally very, very tough team. I've always thought of them and North Fayette Valley as very, very similar. They're just going to run a lot. It's going to be the same thing. Talk about what you're expecting, though.
They're going to run the ball very well on the ground. They're going to be physical. They're not going to make mistakes, and they're not going to beat themselves. They have a coaching staff up there that's been doing it for a long, long time. They've been doing it very, very well for a long, long time. One of the advantages to playing North Fayette Valley last week is that they do run similar offenses. We do have, a couple weeks to prep for similar looks. And so, I think our guys are prepared from that end. But, it's going to be one of those games that we're going to have to clean things up. There's some things from last Friday, there's no doubt, that we need to clean up that we can't have happen. Mm-hmm. We can't count on scoring a touchdown on a botched punt. We can't count on, some other things that are going to happen, week in, week out. Maybe 4 interceptions, stuff like that. So it's one of those things where, Decorah, I think we're prepared as we're going to be, but we need to make sure we clean things up on our end as well.
Absolutely. Final question, Iowa or Iowa State this weekend?
Got to be the Hawks, absolutely.
Big game Saturday. I know that's not the thing that you're focused on right now, but big game coming up at Jack Trice this weekend. So, well, thanks a lot, Coach. Appreciate you joining us this week and looking forward to hopefully going 3-0 Friday night.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem.